Good afternoon, Year 6. How are you all? Hope fine. So, welcome once again to Best Montessori Distance Learning e-portal and welcome to the English class. So, today we are going to start a new chapter in English, that is homesickness. The name of the unit is School Days and the name of the chapter is Homesickness. So, first of all, what do you mean by homesickness? Homesickness means that when you are far away from your home, when you are not at home, you are far away from your home. For example, you are living in a hostel and you remember of your home. How do you feel at hostel? You remember how about your home, that is known as homesickness. So let us begin the chapter. In our childhood, we are so attached to our parents, brothers, and sisters that we miss them when we are away from them for a long period of time. Yes? Yes or no? We are attached to our parents, brother, and sisters so much that when we go out of our home for the further studies for a long period of time, then we miss them. The word homesickness refers to missing one's home during a period of absence. Roald Dahl, one of the most successful children's writers, remembers his childhood days at his school hostel where he felt terribly homesick. So, this story is written by the famous child writer, that is Roald Dahl, and he is writing about one of his experience of school hostel where he felt terribly homesick. Felt terribly homesick means where he remembered his home very much, his parents, brother, and sister, when he must have gone to hostel for his studies. I was homesick during the whole of my first term at St. Peter's. Homesickness is a bit like seasickness. What is seasickness? Seasickness is when the feeling which you have when you are sailing in a boat on a in a sea, when you are sailing on a boat on a ship in a sea. So that type of feeling, he is comparing that homesickness is a bit like seasickness. You don't know how awful you don't know how awful it is till you get it, and when you do, it hits you right in the top of the stomach and you want to die. He is telling about the feeling, what type of feeling it is. It hits you right in the top of the stomach and you want to die. Both the feelings are like this, homesickness also and seasickness also. The only comfort is that both homesickness and seasickness are instantly curable. They both are curable. The first goes away the moment you walk out of the school grounds, and the second is forgotten as soon as the ship enters the port. So the homesickness is cured. How? It is cured when you walk out from the school grounds. When you walk out from the school grounds, and the second sickness, which sickness it was? Seasickness. And the second sickness is forgotten as soon as the ship enters the port. So when the ship enters the port, the seasickness is gone, and when you move out from the school grounds, the homesickness is gone, is cured. I was so I was so devastatingly means extremely. I was so devastatingly homesick during my first 2 weeks that I set about devising a stunt for getting myself sent back home, even if it were only a few days. Means he was remembering his home, his parents so much that he was ready to do anything so that he may be sent back home from the school, either for the whole time or for few days only. He was ready to do anything so that he may be sent back to home from the school. My idea was that I should all of a sudden develop an attack of acute appendicitis. So what he thought that he will develop an attack of acute appendicitis. Now, what is this appendicitis? It is a type of a disease in which there is a lot of stomach ache. Nobody is able to, the person who is suffering from this appendicitis has a lot of stomach ache, and the person is not able to eat, and the person has high fever, and then it can be cured by doing a operation in from where this appendix is removed from the stomach of the person. So he also thought like he will be developing an attack of acute appendicitis. Now why did he develop this idea? He developed this idea because you will get the answer in this paragraph. You will probably think it silly that a 9-year-old boy should imagine he could get away with a trick like that, but I had sound reasons for trying it on. So you must be thinking that how a 9-year-old child could imagine that he could think of an attack of acute appendicitis. But the writer says that he had sound reasons for trying this false idea of acute appendicitis. Only a month before, my ancient half sister, who was 12 years older than me, had actually had appendicitis, and for several days before her operation, I was able to observe her behavior at close quarters. So, how did he develop this idea of acute appendicitis? Because he had seen her sister suffering from this disease. Only one month before, he had seen his sister, ancient half sister, who was 12 years older than him. He had seen his sister, how she was suffering from appendicitis, and he had observed her behavior at close quarters. Means he had observed that how she was suffering from this appendicitis, how much pain she was having, how she was not able to eat, how she was having high fever. All this he knew, so he thought that he would be able to do all this acting very nicely, so he developed this idea of acute appendicitis. I noticed that the things she complained about most was a severe pain down in the lower side of her tummy. As well as this, she kept being sick and refused to eat and ran a temperature. So he knew that what all things happen in appendicitis. So he thought of developing this idea of acute appendicitis so that the school may send him home, that the child is suffering from appendicitis, so he could be cured, and school will send him back home. You might, by the way, be interested to know that this sister had her appendix removed not in a fine hospital operating room full of bright lights and gowned nurses, but on our own nursery table at home by the local doctor and his anesthetist. See, now this when the his sister was suffering from appendicitis, the sister did not get removed her appendix from in a hospital, but she got this appendicitis removed at home only. In those days, it was fairly common practice for a doctor to arrive at your own house with a bag of instruments, then drape a sterile sheet over the most convenient table and get on with it. So he's talking about the early days. In those days, it was a common practice that the doctor used to come at home and with his own bag of instruments, and then the doctor used to do operation at the most convenient table at the home by using the sterile sheet. On this occasion, I can remember lurking in the corridor. What is the meaning of this lurking now? On this occasion, I can remember lurking in the corridor outside the nursery while the operation. Lurking means moving in a secret way so that nobody can see you. Meaning is that moving in a very secret way, without making any sound also, so that nobody may come to know that you are walking. So on this occasion, I can remember lurking in the corridor outside the nursery while the operation was going on. So the writer is saying that he remembered those lurking, that he was just hiding outside the room secretly to see what was going on inside the room, because doctor did not allow him to enter the room where he was doing the operation, but the writer was hiding himself outside the room. My other sisters were with me and we stood there spellbound. Other sisters also accompanied him and they were standing outside the room spellbound. Spellbound means paying all their attention, listening carefully to whatever is happening inside the room. Listening to the soft medical murmurs coming from behind the locked door and picturing the patient with her stomach sliced open like a lump of beef, though the writer could not see anything because the room was locked where the operation was going on, but still they were trying to listen to the soft medical murmurs, to the soft murmuring which was going on inside the room between the doctors, and also trying to figure out how the operation must be going on. We could even smell the sickly fumes of ether filtering through the crack under the door. At that time, ether was the medicine, was a colorless liquid used for giving to the patient to make the patient sleep during the operation. So they could even smell the sickly fumes of ether coming from the room. They could smell that pungent smell of that ether coming from the room. The next day, we were allowed to inspect the appendix itself in a glass bottle. So, after the operation, they were allowed to see that appendix which was taken out from his sister's stomach and it was kept in a bottle. It was a longish, black, wormy looking thing. How it was? It was a longish, black, wormy looking thing. Means it was looking like a earthworm. And I said, "Do I have one of these inside me, Nanny?" As soon as the writer saw that, he just simply asked this question to his nanny: "Do I have one of these inside me?" "Everybody has one," Nanny answered. "So this appendix is present in everybody's stomach." "What's it for?" I asked her. "God works in his mysterious ways," she said, which was her stock reply whenever she didn't know the answer. So, what answer did Nanny give? Nanny told to the writer that God works in his mysterious ways. Why she said this? Because she did not know exactly why this stomach is present in everybody's stomach. What is the function of this appendix in everybody's stomach? So whenever she didn't know the answer, definite answer of anything, she used to say this answer: God works in his mysterious ways, because she didn't know the particular answer to the question asked by the boy. "What makes it go bad?" I asked her. That if it is present, then the boy asked her that if it is present in everybody's stomach, then what are the things which makes this appendix so bad? "Toothbrush bristles," she answered, this time with no hesitation at all. So what was the answer given by Nanny? That it is the toothbrush bristles. What are the toothbrush bristles now? Toothbrush bristles are the hair-like pieces of plastic attached to a toothbrush, which are used for cleaning your teeth. So, toothbrush bristles, I cried. How can toothbrush bristles make your appendix go bad? So, how these toothbrush bristles can make your appendix bad? Nanny, who in my eyes was filled with more wisdom than Solomon, replied, "Whenever a bristle comes out of your toothbrush and you swallow it, it sticks in your appendix and turns it rotten." So how this toothbrush bristles makes the appendix bad? That when the toothbrush is like even a month old, you must have seen when the toothbrush is even a month old, then the bristles of the toothbrush start coming out. So when the bristles start coming out, and if you swallow those bristles by chance, then it sticks to the appendix and makes it rotten. "In the war," she went on, "the German spies used to sneak boxloads of loose bristled toothbrushes into our shops, and millions of our soldiers got appendicitis." "Honestly, Nanny," I cried, "is that honestly true?" Because the writer was not able to believe this, so he asked again to Nanny, "Tell me honestly whether it is true, Nanny, that toothbrush bristles are responsible for making the appendix bad." "I never lie to you, child," she answered. "So let that be a lesson to you, never to use an old toothbrush." So this lesson you should also remember, that after every 1 month your toothbrush should be changed. Do not use your old toothbrush. For years after that, for years after that, I used to get nervous whenever I found a toothbrush bristle on my tongue. As I went upstairs and knocked on the brown door after breakfast, I didn't even feel frightened of the matron Come in, boomed the voice. Now, this was the story about the writer's childhood, because this was the incident which writer has told, which he remembered of the appendicitis of his sister. Now, remembering that incident of appendicitis, he developed an idea of making the false attack of appendicitis so that the school might return him home back. So now again returning to the school, what the writer is saying. As I went upstairs and knocked on the brown door after breakfast, I didn't even feel frightened of the matron. Who is matron? Matron is a female nurse in the school. So the writer had his breakfast and then he went upstairs and knocked the brown door of the matron. Come in, boomed the voice. Matron told him to come in. I entered the room, clutching my stomach on the right hand side and staggering pathetically. So, what is the meaning of this staggering pathetically? That means he was holding his stomach on the right hand. He was holding his stomach with his hands on the right hand side and he was walking with very difficulty, as if he is having lot of pain in his stomach. What's the matter with you? The matron shouted, and the sheer force of her voice caused that massive bosom to quiver like a gigantic blank mage. So the matron asked him, what's the matter with you? And the matron asked the writer, what's the matter with you? Why you are holding your stomach and why you are walking so like why you are walking like this, like you are having so much of pain in your stomach? It hurts, matron, I moaned. Oh, it hurts so much just here. So now the writer started speaking the lies. Yes, it hurts, matron. It hurts, matron means I am having pain here. The where? The place where he was holding his stomach with his hands. It hurts so much. You have been overeating, she barked. What do you expect if you guzzle currant cake all day long? So matron told him that you must have been overeating. You must have eaten too much, and this thing will happen if you will keep on eating in such large amounts. Guzzle currant cake means eating in large amount. If you will keep on eating in large amount and that too quickly, then this will happen. I haven't eaten a thing for days, I lied. I could not eat, matron. I simply could not. But what did the boy say, or what did the writer say? The writer said that I have not eaten a thing for days. Since so many days, I have not eaten a thing. So was he telling truth? No, he was lying. I lied. He was telling lie because all this was planned. Why he was making such type of false statements? Because he wanted to go back home. He was feeling homesick. So he wanted to go back home. So he was making all these excuses. Go on, get on the bed and lower your trousers, she ordered. So matron said that lie down on the bed and lower down your trousers so that she may check up the stomach. I lay on the bed and she began prodding my tummy violently with her fingers. I was watching her carefully and when she hit what I guessed was the appendix place, I let out a yelp. So when matron told him to lie down on the bed, the writer he laid down on the bed and matron started checking up his stomach. So when she was checking his stomach, as soon as matron reached at that place where the writer guessed was the appendix place, he let out a yelp. Yelp means he shouted that rattled the window panes. He shouted so loudly that even the window panes rattled. Like when an earthquake comes, the you hear a voice shivering of the window panes. No, the same way rattled the window panes means that even the window panes started shivering. He shouted so much, so loudly. Oh, 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 I cried out. Don't, matron, don't. and he growled like he was having a lot of pain. Don't do like this, matron. Then I supplied in the clincher. What is a clincher? A fact that settles a matter. So he start just then when the boy shouted so loudly, then matron thought clincher means a fact. She matron developed a fact in her mind. I have been sick all morning, I moan, and now there's nothing left to be sick with, but I still feel sick. At that time, the boy told that I have been feeling sick since morning and now I am feeling sick very badly. This was the right move. I saw her hesitate. Stay where you are, she said, and she walked quickly from the room. She told the boy to lie down on the bed only. Stay where you are. The boy was lying down on the bed, so she told the boy to lie on the bed only, and she moved out of the room very quickly. So why do you think she moved out of the room? Very quickly, she moved out of the room to call the doctor. She may have been a foul and beastly woman, but she had a nurse's training and she did not want a ruptured appendix on her hands. So she moved out of the room just to call the doctor because she had a thought in her mind that it might be appendix, but she was not confirmed. So she wanted to call the doctor and get it confirmed. Now I'm stopping the lesson here only. So I think you must have understood till here. Till here, the writer is just making the excuses because he wanted to go back home. He was feeling homesickness. He was admitted in the hostel for the study, but he did not like the school environment. He was homesick, so he wanted to go back. So he was making the excuse of appendicitis. And why he was making the excuse of appendicitis? Because he knew about the symptom of this disease as he had seen her sister suffering from this disease. So, till here, I want all of you to read the chapter carefully, thoroughly, and I'll be giving you the homework to write the meanings of the difficult words, to go through the spellings of those difficult words. I may take your dictation in the Zoom class. So, you should know the spelling of the difficult words, write the meaning of those difficult words, and make a sentences of your own to explain the meaning of the difficult words. Till here, please read the lesson carefully, as again and again I am telling you that reading is the most important part. As you will read the chapter, you will understand it more nicely. So see you year 6 in the next English class, and thank you for learning on Best Montessori Distance Learning e-portal. Till next class, stay safe at home, and bye all of you. Please do your homework and submit it on time. So by year 6, see you in the next English class.